Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content.
It feels like yesterday we were all crashing out about losing to the Pacers, about how this team looked. But just a few months after that, we are already ready for a new season. It's strange, Tony, because we've been in a different era of NBA basketball, right? Like we've lived through the LeBron era and the KD, like the Warriors era, and we've been out of it for a little while. But now there's like different TV channels producing the NBA now. And now it just truly feels like, oh yeah, that era, that's done. We're in something completely different now. Like I got to see if NBC has the Cavs game or if Chuck and Ernie going to be on ESPN. It don't make any sense. But it is now truly, we have entered into this new era of the NBA. And the Cavs are at a fortunate place where they're one of the favorites to win a championship. Tony, how do you feel about this team coming into it, given what they've done in the offseason? Just a brief overview, because it hasn't been big, splashy offseason like I think some people want it. But I've been a fan of consistently every small move they've made. Except for one, but...
Oh, I want to hear what the one move was. Maybe are you thinking of the Ty Jerome stuff? What is your one move?
The Sam Merrill thing is like still hard for me to understand, right?
Yeah. That we can get into that. Overall, I do think that they nailed it this offseason. I've mentioned this before, but it's really weird when you think back to where we were this time last year. The conversation was, can the Cavs be like a competitive second round team? Can they maybe push Boston if they get to the conference finals? No one was really looking at the Cavs as a title contender this time last year. Mm-hmm. And they changed that very quickly. I mean, they started 15-0. They went on to win 64 games. And now this is the first year where we're all kind of going into it saying, it's basically championship or bust, right? I'm not saying they're going to blow the team up if they don't win this year, but we would all expect some pretty big changes coming if they don't at least get to the finals this year.
I would say you got to feel like you were one thing away from being in the finals. Yeah. Or one that, like, if you don't get it to the finals, it has to be on that KD foot on the line thing, right? Like, you have to feel like you were a split second away from being in the NBA finals or winning the NBA finals. Or I don't know if winning the NBA finals, like, I don't know. You get to the finals, you lose in like 6 games. I don't know if anybody's getting traded, right?
But if you go out in the second round again, some big things are going to happen. This is the most expensive roster in basketball, so they need some proof of concept in the playoffs that's more than just beating up on the Miami Heat.
Yeah, they can't just do what they've done the last couple of years. Like, this has to clearly be a different run. And even if you get to like the Eastern Conference Finals or even NBA Finals, how you go out is going to be very important, because it can't feel like the Knicks series. It can't feel like the Pacers series, right? Because I still think there is a world where you do make it to the finals, but if you go up there and the Thunder just wash you, I mean, we're going to have the same exact feeling that we can't do it, right? A lot of things are going to factor into that conversation, right? We've talked a lot about Lonzo Ball over the offseason. They've made, like, I can't be mad at this offseason because I've literally advocated for like some of these moves for a very long time.
The Lonzo Ball move, I know it was just preseason, but you might as well take a victory lap, because as long as he's healthy, it's so obvious how he's going to help this team, right? Like, it's always the disclaimer you got to get out of the ways, the health stuff. But man, he looks awesome. He looks awesome next to this Cavs, their stars, and even just coming off the bench. Like, it's so clear that this is a guy who just is going to impact every single aspect of the game. We've talked a lot about how just volatile this Cavs bench has been in the past with guys like Karis LeVert, Ty Jerome, who were all very helpful, but they were only really helpful when they had it going offensively. Lonzo Ball is a guy who throughout his career we've seen he doesn't need to score. Like, he doesn't. Every once in a while he can get hot, but he doesn't really need to score to impact winning. He's going to create plays. He's going to play defense. The baseline with a guy like Lonzo Ball when he's on the floor is just so much higher. And I think one of the big things that's been
he's an opportunity maker, right? I think that's the thing with Lonzo, right? It's kind of like Ricky Rubio back in like back when he had that one successful year with Ricky Rubio,
Yeah.
right? Where it was like the whole thing was he's an opportunity creator, right? And I think you have a lot of guys on this second unit, especially, who need opportunities created. Like Jared Allen is a big example. If he's not really on the second unit, but he will run with some of the second unit guys. And it's like, okay, well, you need somebody who can create opportunities with them. So like, and that guy's been like Max Strus the last few years.
Yeah.
Which just
and now
isn't good
he'll
enough.
be able to, Max will be able to create opportunities off the bench now as well, because it seems pretty locked in that DeAndre Hunter, if he's available to play whenever he makes his debut, it's a little up in the air as we're recording, but whenever the Cavs are at full strength, DeAndre Hunter should be the starting three. Max Strus will be coming off the bench. And so all of a sudden you have a lot of facilitating off the bench, which I know you have mentioned a lot since the Pacers series, is that this team just didn't have much playmaking. And now you add a guy like Lonzo Ball who, something that has hit me recently when I've been thinking about it is the Cavs in the past, they're like, they're sixth men, they're best guys off the bench, whether it's Jerome or LeVert. What they did was basically do their best at replicating Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell, just in terms of being like, okay, Darius is out for a few minutes. Ty Jerome's going to come in and try to score in bunches. Or, Karis LeVert's going to come in and try to be like Donovan Mitchell. Lonzo Ball doesn't do any of that. There's really no overlapping in their skill set other than Lonzo's a great playmaker. He doesn't need the ball in his hands. He can play without it. He's a great defender. Even if he's not doing anything on offense, he's changing the game defensively, which you can't really say about Darius or Donovan. This is just adding so much more versatility to the lineup in a way that Jerome and LeVert weren't able to, because all they could really do was overlap what we already had. Lonzo Ball actually adds a new wrinkle. I think you could say the same thing about Larry Nance Jr., although his talents overlap a little bit more with the front court just because he does kind of do a lot of the same things to a lesser degree as the Jared Allen or an Evan Mobley, right? He's an athletic big. He can run rim to rim. Not a great rim protector, but he can defend multiple positions. Good screen setter, probably the best screen setter out of the three right there. He can run some dribble handoffs. He can dribble the ball a little bit. It's just more versatility added to this roster. And then you also get Thomas Bryant, who I don't expect is going to play like a huge role or anything. But when you look at the Cavs front court depth over the last few years, it was basically just Dean Wade behind Allen and Mobley. Now you have two legit playable bigs behind them, and like actual bigs, right? Like not Dean Wade bigs. I mean Larry Nance Jr. and Thomas Bryant, guys who actually have some size and can play on the floor, right? Like Thomas Bryant just played 10, 12 minutes per game on a finals team. It's a very small role, but like that's a guy who's now your fourth option off the bench for, backup big. And so that's awesome to have on this team.
Yeah, it's certainly better than like Coach T being like one play away from 25 minutes a game.
Exactly. Like you can lean on Thomas Bryant a little bit more than you could 2025 Tristan Thompson.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting offseason, right? I think the Larry Nance move is like it's a move. Sometimes you make moves because you're like, oh, we got to bring this player in. We got to get the skill set. Sometimes you make moves because it shifts other pieces that you have into the right spot. With Larry Nance, I'm like, they not trying to play DeAndre Hunter at the 4 no more, right?
Yeah.
All these moves scream, we are done playing DeAndre Hunter at the 4, which I think is going to be a good thing for this team. It's going to shift DeAndre into a better spot. I think when the rebound burden is not on him, he will actually rebound better.
It's
right?
so funny. It's so funny. It's like when there's less pressure on him to get it. Yeah.
Well, he might just be a better long rebounder than he is like
Yeah.
a box out guy, right? Because he might just not be able to. He might just not have it, right? You got to have a little bit of animal in you, right, to get that to get those under the hoop rebounds. So there have been moves there. I think the obvious thing for this team, and we've talked about this for a long time, right? Like when I think about my long-term things about this roster, I think one thing we always come back to is weight. I think they addressed a lot of the weight stuff, right? Screen setters, inbounding the ball should not be a chore this year.
Yeah. It should be much easier.
Yeah. You got guys who can set screens. You got Lonzo who can pass the ball really well on the inbound. Like, that cost you 2 games this year in the playoffs. As petty as it sounds to be upset about that. I gotta check that door real quick.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Where was I at? Oh yeah, the weight thing. So there's
Lonzo
that.
Ball.
I think they addressed that, the inbound stuff here. The big thing though, right? All this other small stuff's not gonna matter if Evan doesn't do what we need Evan to do, right? And that's the other thing I've been pleased with the preseason is that it does seem like everybody understands what the assignment is this year, even if it means we're gonna have to sit through some Evan Mobley shooting slumps, right? And I expect that to be the case. I know that Twitter's gonna lose their mind, right? But if Evan comes out the year and it's like, oh, what's happening? His efficiency's down, all this stuff, people freaking out. I think I'm not gonna be one of those freaking out because I'm like, no, he needs to be a little bit more inefficient just to get used to demanding the ball, being that guy. And if there's a little bit of a transition that's going to maybe cost you a couple of regular season games, I'm willing to take that because I think what's going to be important for this team is Evan Mobley being a guy who could create in the fourth quarter, right? Like they need somebody who's over 6'3", even though Donovan Mitchell technically, allegedly 6'5", right? That's what people think he is actually.
The height watch in the NBA is so ridiculous. I just don't even pay attention because like Victor Wembanyama's 7'8" or whatever now, or like just everybody lies about their height. It doesn't make any sense.
It is like some measurements are with shoes on, some measurements are not with. They don't really care about height measurements in the NBA, which is shocking.
I think I saw that Colin Sexton is 5'11" actually, which isn't really a surprise if you've seen him like in person. He does look much shorter than what I think they had him listed at like 6'2" or something. But yeah, just don't trust anybody in the NBA when it comes to their heights. I still don't know how tall Kevin Durant is. He's been like every height between 6'9" and 7'2". I feel like it's just every year there's a different number for Kevin Durant.
It doesn't help that people don't understand like placement in photos can make you look a lot taller than
perception.
You actually are too.
Someone's like 2 feet in front of the other person and it's like, whoa, did he grow? It's like, no guys, they're just standing 2 feet apart.
Sometimes it's like the length of the lens and like the wideness of it too. It's like, oh wow, Evan Mobley got way bigger. It's like, no, they're just using a long lens. Like,
depth perception will get all of us. But no,
but they need somebody who. Let's just call it 6'7" plus, right? That can create in certain situations. And I think we see some good things from Evan in terms of that development there. Obviously, it's going to be a year-long thing, right? I don't expect him to really. I expect the real clicking moment to happen more towards the playoffs, right? Towards the end of the season than at the beginning of the season. I think some people are like, oh yeah, Evan better come out here and put 20 up in the fourth quarter. I expect growing pains there because he ultimately is still very young. What's your expectations for Evan this year? Because it's so easy to just set crazy unfair expectations for a guy like him.
Yeah, I mean, the expectations have been all over the place, but for me, like what I'm hoping to see, you're right, there is going to be some growing pains because last year, while he did make significant steps forward in basically every single category, the one thing that we still didn't really see is like volume scoring from Evan Mobley. We didn't even really see his usage in that regard go up that much because it never felt like he was unloading the clip, right? His usage went up. But it was rare that Evan Mobley was just shooting, it was leading the team in shot attempts, right? And in the preseason, what we saw is that in that final preseason game, he shot 3 of 13, which is bad. That's very bad. But the fact that he kept shooting, even though he was not making anything, was really important. And Kenny Atkinson, after the game, was asked about it, and he said, yeah, that's intentional. Like Mobley, the whole team understands, Mobley himself, that you got to be the guy this year. That doesn't mean that you're going to lead the team in scoring. I've said this a few times on different pods and everything, but like Donovan Mitchell is still going to lead this team in scoring because he is just a gifted scorer. Like I don't expect Evan Mobley to surpass him in that aspect, but it does have to get to a point where on any given night, it's Evan Mobley leading the charge because you mentioned it, right? Like you need a guy with size where this is basically my expectation for Mobley, right? I'll just make it simple because people are, where does he need to get better or anything? Can he get to the point where you can give Evan Mobley the ball and either he is scoring one-on-one or he is finding the open man when they send a second defender to him, whether that's in the post, on the elbow, at the top of the key, wherever his spot might be. We need to get to a point where you can just give Evan Mobley the ball, everyone get out of the way, and either he's scoring or he's finding the open man when they try to double team him. That's what basically every championship team has had. Every single championship team has had a player like that. For the Cavs, it kind of has to be Evan Mobley because when it's someone like Donovan Mitchell, who again is a great scorer, it's just a lot harder to create those advantages in the playoffs when you're kind of playing downhill or trying to generate a three-point shot. When you can play with your back to the basket as an Evan Mobley-sized player, it's just a lot easier to be more methodical and deliberate. So that's where I need the Cavs to get, and that's where I need Evan Mobley's development to get is, can you on any given night lead the team in scoring and take them to where they need to go? Because it's not going to be every single game. He's not going to lead the Cavs in scoring, but he does need to get to the point where, when you combine the fact that he is the best defensive player on the team, sure, maybe Mitchell's going to have the advantage offensively, but when you put the 2 and 2 together, Mobley will be the best player on this team. It doesn't mean he's going to be the leading scorer again, but you can still be the best player because of your two-way performances. And so by the time we get to the playoffs, that's where he needs to be. It doesn't have to happen game one, but by the time you roll into the playoffs, that's probably what you're going to need if you're going to get to the finals and maybe even win a championship.
Yeah, my thing has always been you're not going to win the finals with this core unless Evan Mobley's the finals MVP.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it has to be that way, right? Like, I don't think Donovan can score you to a championship. He's a prolific scorer, but it's just hard to do that.
Yeah,
right?
and we've seen his best efforts, right? Like, and he's been incredible. He's been awesome, and you just can't win in the NBA that way. And it's not a knock on Donovan Mitchell at all because again, he's been awesome.
Yeah, you're going to love a guy who can get you 50, right? Especially if that's not your, like, imagine if Evan Mobley is giving, like, Donovan Mitchell a clutch corner three at the end of the game. Yeah. Like, that's where you want to be at. And I think there's a lot of templates there, for that kind of success for Evan Mobley, right? But if we get to the end of the season and we're talking more like, oh, man, he got that LaMarcus Aldridge bag, we're in a really good place, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's kind of what his game could develop into. And if he could be that on offense and then all world on defense, I mean, you're talking about like a top 75 player right there.
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Like that's what you want. That's living up to the draft hype right there. So yeah, I think that's the big thing for Evan is just the confidence, right? Because I think he can do it. I think it's just the confidence being there. I know I saw somebody say that he yelled at a referee. He was just so confident.
During, I guess, like either training camp or like they're just open runs in the summer. Sam Merrill said, I guess they have officials there, and they called a foul on Mobley, and he was screaming at the ref in open gym, and Sam was like, I've never seen him act like that. So hey, it could be a different Evan Mobley. From everyone is, I know it's just talk and we got to see it backed up, but everyone on this roster is talking about Evan Mobley like he has made a significant leap, not only just in terms of like his on-court skill, but his mentality, his maturity, right? Like he's 25 years old now. This is about the time where you're going to see him start to enter his prime, right? It's early stages, but he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown man in the NBA now. And so if it was going to happen, you would start to see the early signs of it this year. And all signs are indicating that we're going to see another leap from Evan Mobley. Whether that's, MVP caliber player, I don't think that'll happen because, again, it's just Donovan Mitchell is so special. And I can't imagine they'll give an MVP to a player who doesn't even lead his team in scoring. But if the Cavs win 60-plus games and Mobley's just incredible on both ends of the floor, he'll be an all-NBA player for sure. He could be first-team all-NBA this year, and I wouldn't be surprised at all.
It always fascinates me how silly the voting for postseason awards, preseason award, regular season awards is for every sport that I cover. Because it's like, he could be the best player on the team with 65 wins, but they're not going to give it to him because
there's all these
average 30 points, and it's like
unwritten rules.
Yeah, it's like and then now people are going to be extra hesitant. Oh, he's averaging a triple double. Now it's going to go against him. It's just all kind of silly shit. And it's like, hey man, do you think he's the best player right now in basketball? Having the best season, having the most noteworthy season. That's all the award is. That's all the award is.
I agree for the record.
Player. But it becomes about so much. Does he deserve it? Should he have three of them?
The narrative,
right?
The reputation, all that.
Well, if he gets this, then he'll be the first player with that since Magic. And is he the best player since Magic? Just give him the fucking award. It's so much stuff that people just factor in there. It was like when they do this with Jokic. Like, I don't know if he's as good as Larry Bird. We can't give up. Hey, Larry Bird is not running for MVP right now.
It gets so crazy, especially like with Jokic too. It's like, oh well, he's won too many already. It's like, so I mean, they did it to LeBron too. It's like, okay, maybe he's just that good.
It's like, hey man, was he the most noteworthy player that year? Did you say to yourself, wow, that's the best player in basketball? If you did, get the guy to MVP. Why does Kobe only have one?
Kobe has one. LeBron should have like
Steve
12
Nash
of them.
Got two.
That's
era,
absurd.
by the way, in the era of peak LeBron and Kobe, Steve Nash, who was a fantastic player,
2 of them. Oh yeah.
Got two. Okay.
It's all narrative, reputation, storylines. It's rarely who is the most valuable player, and you just got to make peace with that.
Did Duncan ever get one?
Did he? Man, I should know that off the top of my head. Did he ever win a regular season MVP? I can look this up real quick. Because, I mean, you would assume, and I feel like maybe he got one. Let's see.
I would think that Tim got one.
He won it twice. Okay, yeah. In 2001 and 2003. I was going to say, I had a feeling he got at least one.
Yeah, then LeBron happened. And that was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing with Evan is just, it's one thing to score 20, but we want to feel those 20 points, right? Like in the fourth quarter when it matters. Can't have those games where you put up 30 and a half and you just like do nothing for the rest of the game. It's more about the mentality with Evan, right? That I'm going to be judging. And then the results aren't really going to be my main focus until we get past the All-Star break. Like I'm willing to give a pass everything before it. But we get past the All-Star break, then you're like, all right, this got to get tightened up. A lot more efficient. Hopefully we don't even have to have that whole conversation, right? Hopefully he just comes out, gives us a 40-point game versus the Knicks, and we like, you know what, we here, baby.
We're here, day one. Let's go.
We going to the ship.
I wouldn't be complaining. I'd be pretty happy to see that.
It's going to be necessary because, I mean, like, look, Donovan Mitchell is not spry anymore. He's taken a lot of damage onto his body over the last couple of years and over his entire career. He's somebody who needs a lot of lift on his jump shot, right? Like, you got to get somebody to take over that role so that Donovan can age a little bit more gracefully, because in a couple of years, if you're going to ask Donovan to get you 50, that's not going to be as efficient as it was this year, right? So yeah, it's important not just for this season, but to the timeline of the Cavaliers in order for this to work right, for Evan to take that step now, right? Like now is the time for him to take that step. And when I'm not going to be sitting here like, oh, Darius Garland got to get him the ball. Kenny got, no, it's like, you got to just do it, brother.
Yeah,
like,
you got to go get it.
Yeah. So hopefully he accepts that challenge and he steps up to it. I expect some growing pains, but that's Tony Pesta and I before the Cavs season. Are you excited to watch the Cavs this year, or are you going to complain about the regular season and needing to see it in the playoffs all season? Probably going to be a lot of that, but I'm going to try to enjoy the ride, right? There's some things to look for that can indicate that maybe we might just have fixed some problems here. I got to bring you back on soon. So, if we get like a triple-double with like 9-10 points from Lonzo, I'm like, I'm going to be
take
awesome
that victory lap.
coaching.
Yeah.
Whenever I have kids, I'm going to be amazing at that because I predicted that Lonzo would be good for the Cavs. But all seriousness, everybody have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.